I would like to call the reorganization meeting to order. And normally the secretary does this, but our secretary is not here this evening. So my last act as president will be to appoint a new secretary, and that will be the lady down there in the corner. So I am turning the meeting over to Rhonda. You're now in charge.
Okay, I'd like to call the reorganizational meeting to order. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Chrisman?
Here.
Mr. Disler?
Here.
Mr. Fedorcha?
Here.
Mrs. France here. Mr. Green?
Here.
Mrs. Heckman? Here. Ms. Husak is absent. Mr. Kern?
Here.
And Mrs. Culp.
Here.
Okay, we have 8 members present. Okay, notice is hereby given that an organization meeting of the Board of School Directors of the Northern Lehigh School District will be held at 6:45 p.m. prevailing time on Monday, December 5th, 2022, in the Northern Lehigh Administration Building Boardroom at 1201 Shadow Oaks Lane, Slatington. And we now will open nominations for a temporary board president.
I nominate, yes, Donna Culp.
I second the motion.
Motion to close nominations.
Second.
Okay, nominations are closed. All in favor of Mrs. Culp becoming president, vote aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, Mrs. Culp is the new president.
At this time, I would like to call for nominations for the president for the ensuing year, one-year term.
I would like to nominate Matt Green.
I second.
Any other nominations? Nominations will be closed. Now I make a motion to choose Mr. Green as president. All those in favor, give your consent by saying aye.
Aye.
And Mr. Green, you are president for one more year at the Northern Lehigh School Board. Congratulations.
Thank you all, I appreciate that. At this time, we'll take nominations for vice president for a one-year term. Are there any nominations for vice president?
I'd like to nominate Gary Fedorcha.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? One more time, any other nominations? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve closing of the nominations?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Culp. Is there a second?
Here.
Was Robin? Okay, thank you. All those in favor of closing nominations, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And so ordered. Congratulations, Mr. Fedorcha.
Thank you very much.
You are the new vice president. The next item is to set the board meetings and agendas, and I think you all have a copy of that somewhere here. I had one somewhere. Yeah, here it is. The colored sheet. Two items come up, and the one is, do we want to stay with Monday night for meetings? There's some discussion on whether we would change that or whether we would stay to Monday night. So I don't know if there's any discussion on that, where we want to go. Thoughts, anyone?
Yeah, right down here, Matt. I've been reached out to multiple times, committee meetings being the same time as Slatington Borough Council meetings on the first Monday. So I would like to make a motion to change that to the first Wednesday of every month. The first Tuesday is Washington Township's meeting, so trying to appease as many masses as possible, I suppose.
A motion motion by Mr. Christman to change the meetings to the first Wednesday. Is there a second to that motion? Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, who was that?
I'll second it.
You have a second? Discussion.
Wasn't there a reason that we couldn't do the Wednesday? Something with the schedule of administration, because it was the first Wednesday at some point during COVID. Do you guys remember that?
It was Monday and Wednesdays for a good number of years.
Just
originally we had
Wednesdays,
Mondays
though.
and Wednesdays.
And
then
then we
we
moved it
went
all to one
into
night.
doing it once a month, and we moved it to a Wednesday first, then over to a Monday.
Oh,
In
got
that
it.
sequence.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, the
yeah,
Wednesday,
that's basically the sequence.
the Wednesday wasn't working for people.
Right.
That's why we moved it back to Wednesday.
Wednesday
And I don't
to
remember
Monday.
exactly-
Monday nights.
I don't remember exactly what the conflict was, but there was some kind of conflict, Michelle, and so
Yeah.
there was a request to move it back to Monday,
Uh-huh.
and so we moved it back, but again, I don't remember exactly what that was. I don't know if anyone else does, but.
Yeah, I didn't remember.
Any other discussion?
I have no problem moving it. I just
Mr. Green, the only
want to make
thing
sure
I
people
would
can
say,
be
and I know
there.
you've tried to do that, and I think we gotta try harder to streamline though that evening, because it goes extremely long. So if we can somehow do even more than we're already doing, if we go to one night.
That's the next item for discussion that I want to bring up.
Thank you.
So, okay, we have a motion to change to Wednesday. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no? No?
No.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Christman,
Yes.
Mr. Disler,
Yes.
Mr. Fedorcha,
No.
Mrs. France, yes. Mrs. Heckman,
No.
Susak's absent. Mr. Kern,
No.
Mrs. Culp,
No.
and Mr. Green.
No.
We have 5 no votes, so the motion does not carry.
Okay, so that motion will be defeated. We will stay with Monday night. The other item I wanted to discuss, and this is hand in hand with what Mr. Fedorcha was saying, I've had a couple people come to me over the years and said, or not over the years, but over the course of the last few months and say, is there any way we can change our meetings so that we always have, for example, meeting A first, then meeting B, and then C, and then D? Some people said, A, they were looking to have their meeting first so they could get home earlier and didn't have to get home so late. Ironically, someone else said they wanted their meeting to be second because they had trouble making the first meeting. So again, I'm throwing that out for discussion. I don't know where we're at on it, but is there any thought of doing that? And I would say that based on the input I have, we would probably do something like, finance, building and grounds, and education, and in that order. I'm just, again.
If I can add 2 things to that, Mr. Green. If we do keep it as A, B, C, D, or whatever else, can we also have a time frame put in there so that if let's just say that is in the later session and really can't get here for the first, I don't want to come here like I did one time and find out that everybody left. So my point is, I think we need to have a little bit more time structure in that. But I also agree that we need to keep it, I like the idea of going A, B, C, D, and the only reason is, when it isn't, it becomes confusing to us to know what time I'm really coming in tonight. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, Gary. I think one of the problems is we never know which meeting is going to take the longest. Sometimes the policy meeting takes an hour, sometimes it takes 10 minutes. I suspect that our January Buildings and Grounds, if McClure comes back, we might have a very, very long Buildings and Grounds meeting, but, so it's hard to, but I would say, maybe not before 8 o'clock to start the other one or something might work if we do it that way. Do you think we can get done by then? Yeah, come on.
I think it can be hard, but
My opinion is I don't think we can do that. Each committee takes as long as it takes, depending on how the agenda drives it that evening. I know as far as the, what is the rotation for that particular month, that is set out, ahead of time, when those agendas go out, which one we're starting with, and then the ones that will follow. So I don't, back to the original question of, can we put time slots in? The danger with that is we may not get through an agenda and we have to abruptly cut it short and then carry it over to the next month. Or we get done very early and then there's 20 minutes, 30 minutes of downtime until the next one starts.
The only thing to that I would like to add is the fact that, for example, in policy or whatever else, and whatever other committee, if we get the written stuff ahead of time, do I really need to have somebody read it to me that night? That is a time-consuming process. More or less, if I have a question, I should ask and we have a discussion. I don't know, I'm just throwing something out here.
And I've had those discussions also, Barry. It's like, yes, I don't need someone to read to me. I'm a big boy, I can do that, and we've talked about that. I think we have consolidated our meetings considerably over where they were when we
Right,
started.
beginning, yeah.
You know, we were here till ridiculous hours. So I think we've come in the right direction, but is there still room maybe to do better? Probably, yeah, so.
And again, I would just caution, so I do agree that we have considerably condensed those times by basically saying, here's everything, let us know if you have questions ahead of time. That seems like it's working well. But I just caution the board that we still have to be responsible of transparency.
Absolutely.
And that we shouldn't be rushing topics through a committee agenda or a committee meeting.
Yeah, at times you don't know what questions are going to arise unless there's more explanation at that meeting. You don't know what you don't know, is I guess what I'm saying. So I do like that we did streamline it a little bit. I mean, some of our meetings were, one was like 10:30. So, but if it's an important topic, it needs to be explored and thoroughly looked at, so. But I don't need to know, how many light bulbs Mr. Durr is buying next month, I don't need to know that, so.
Yeah.
Not to pick on Mr. Durr, but you understand what I'm saying. But I agree with, we need to streamline as much as we
Monday
can.
and Wednesday? Could we split it again? Like we did before?
I'm
What was the
confused at
question?
what's
To
happening
split them?
here. Is the goal to make sure that nobody misses their meeting because we know what time each committee is starting? Or is the goal of this conversation to set a time limit for the meetings? Because I'm not advocating for that. I don't think you are
No,
either.
To my
No.
comment is not to set a time limit, no.
Correct.
But to understand that there's a point of when, if I'm gonna be on the second part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and even though I'm not saying I did not wanna hear the other stuff, because I'm gonna get to read it all,
Mm-hmm.
and I did not have the time or whatever else to come to the first two meetings, and I'm in the last two, what time should I be coming? What about time? That's all I'm at, and I don't know if that's possible, honestly. It's not an easy process, I know that. My concern is that getting here at 5 o'clock and sitting through two meetings that I have no definite response to except to understand, and that's my job to be here to learn, I know that. And then sitting here till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night is a little ridiculous. Because I'm on the second wave.
I understand.
Where if you're on the first wave, you can go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know
Well,
how,
one
I don't know how to balance it.
I know that one education meeting lasted a good 2 hours. And then, pushed all the other ones back, and then people were coming for finance, they were sitting in on that 2-hour item, and you were an hour and a half early. Where yours should have been started earlier. I agree with that.
And I just don't know how to balance that, Michelle.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm,
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, one time I was the third meeting and I came, not at 5, I came at 6 because I was like, 2 committees will definitely take an hour. And that third meeting was almost already done.
Right.
I had missed my meeting because you don't know when it's going to start.
well,
I thought an hour was pretty
That's what Karen was
conservative,
I did
yeah.
that too, and that's one thing I was saying. Plus, I know
Yeah.
at our last committee meeting, the committee that met last,
Mm-hmm.
the chair was the only person sitting here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There was no other, everybody else left, even if they were on that committee, they were done because they were done earlier in the, I don't know how to balance this, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I would, if we can just streamline it, maybe is what I'm saying, and get some idea that we would be, I don't know. Just my comments. I apologize for going on that.
I would propose, this is great conversation, by the way, thank you for everybody weighing in. I would propose give administration the opportunity to continue to streamline, get information out ahead of time on the posted agenda to the public and to the board. Even if the information that's shared out ahead of time is pages, right? And then it kind of becomes a responsibility of the individual to review it and come prepared to have the conversation. I would propose and request that we kind of follow the same pattern that we have been for the last few months. And maybe do a revisit of it in like March and see if we were able to get closer to meeting everybody's unique needs. Because I think everybody does have kind of, they have their own reasons for either wanting to start early or coming in later.
Can we at least not have the schedule rotate?
I'm sorry, you said,
Like the order of the meetings? Or is that like a critical part of this?
no, it's just discussion, and I only brought it up, Michelle, because some people have come to me and asked if we could do that, if we could go with a certain schedule
Yeah.
and have, some people, like I said, some people didn't want to be the last meeting of the night because it got too late, and some wanted their meeting later because they had conflicts that they couldn't get here early.
Right.
And it was kind of, and I'm bringing it up to see what the majority,
I don't go
wants
order, I
this.
don't go last, I just wanna know what it's in.
So it's up to majority if you want to do anything, you want to stay where we are. Okay, I'm not hearing any kind of motion,
There's a
so.
comment down.
What?
Sorry, Mr. Green.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Donna.
I'm sorry. There was voice for a Wednesday meeting. Is there any chance we do go back to a Monday and a Wednesday, or is that not something we're going to do?
I had a lot of pushback of that also, Donna, and that meant that people had to come out more than one night, depending on what committees they are, the administration had to come out more than one night. I also heard people saying that, oh wow, I'm glad I really went to a finance committee meeting, because I never knew that we were really doing some of those things. And I think a lot of people were saying that they kind of had their, got a little bit more insight into some of the things that were happening. People who were maybe not going to an education meeting said, oh wow, I'm really glad to hear about some of those things. And it gave you the opportunity in one night, to do that, instead of having to come out 2 nights. And, then you ask the administration to come out 2 nights and the board members to come out 2 nights. And that's why people were pushing back on the 2 nights. I don't think there's an easy answer anywhere.
That's why I was saying if we could streamline it, and I would not make a motion to tell you how to streamline it, because depending on what the nature of the meeting is, it may change a little bit, but, again, if we can streamline a little bit so that we're not here from 5 to 10,
And I can tell you that Mr. Link and I have had several conversations on that. I think we've had conversations as a board on that in attempting to streamline it, and, we're moving in the direction. And unfortunately, here we go December, we don't even have a committee meeting. So now comes January, now you have to have 2 committee meetings in one. July comes, you don't have a committee meeting. So, there's those bottlenecks that occur over the course of the year. So again, if there's not a motion to move one way or the other, Mr. Link is suggesting that we stay where we are. And if no one wants to make a motion to change it, then I would say discussion is over. And unless I get a motion,
I don't
we've
have a
been
motion,
dragging
but I
all this
just-
for a while, so.
I don't have a motion, but I just have one final comment. I definitely do not think we should split it into 2 nights again. I live down the street, but not everyone that works here lives down the street. I think it is a hardship for the administration and the individuals that have to be at some of these meetings to come out 2 nights a week. That's my comment.
Matt, I also have a comment. And I also like the structure where it stays the same. So I know finance will be at 5:30, or, education will be at 6:30, whatever it is, in the pecking order, so that we have a pretty idea where it might fall.
May I ask a clarifying question on that? Do you mean, Mr. Kern, keep it like it is, where we rotate which one comes first, or set
No,
it
set
in
it.
order and
Yeah.
then,
Set number 1, set number 2, set number 3.
so Monday nights, set order?
That's, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I would say again, we've kind of drug on quite a bit with the conversation. I do not have a motion of any kind. If someone wants to make a motion, we can get a second, we can have discussion, but other than that, I think it's time that we move on and go from there.
If we have no other motions, I would like to move to adjourn the meeting.
1 second. No motion. Mr. Fedorcha, you have the floor. What?
So no motion means that it sets the defaults to what we've been doing.
Exactly.
Yes, right.
Which means we're gonna rotate.
Exactly.
Right.
Motion by Mr. Fedorcha to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. So ordered. Take a minute, and then we'll go into the regular agenda. The regular board meeting into session. You okay there? You see the civility and decorum on the top of the page. I don't think we need to pledge allegiance the second time, so I would ask the secretary to call the roll, please.
Okay, Mr. Chrisman?
Here.
Mr. Disler?
Here.
Mr. Fedorcha?
Here.
Mrs. France? Here. Mrs. Heckman? Here. Mrs. Husak? Mr. Kern?
Here.
Mrs. Culp? Here. And Mr. Green.
Here.
8 members present.
Hey, that didn't change. Okay,
Nobody's scared at all.
you've all received minutes of the preceding meeting. Oh, no, I missed one. Public comment, excuse me, I apologize. Is anyone commenting on,
There is no one signed up to speak this
okay,
evening.
sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. And so ordered. Special board reports, Ms. Husak is not here. I have nothing about LTRIC that I need to get into tonight. I see no student reps tonight.
We're missing LCTI on the agenda.
I'm sorry?
You're missing LCTI on the agenda.
Our apologies for that.
That's okay. We didn't,
No.
we really didn't have a regular meeting. We did.
We knew that, that's why I wasn't on.
We did have a committee of the whole in which we go over the audit. We have the auditors come in and address it to the board. And we also do a tentative presentation of our upcoming budget. I believe that budget has also been given to the business office and superintendent. So that was all we did at that meeting. So,
Thank you, Gary. You have anything tonight?
I do not, thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Stoker.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Just an announcement that the administration will do the annual data presentation at the January 9th board meeting.
That's it.
That's it.
Business manager.
Just the audit update. I did receive our auditor's ending notes. I have submitted the AFR. It was in the local update where we stood at when we ended the year. They were just in last week to do their final federal programs audit, the single audit. They were in last Tuesday for that. I should sometime towards the end of this month have the financial statement, and I will distribute that out to the board. The only other thing I have to mention that is not on this is quickly, there is an MOU on the board agenda for approval this evening. That MOU had originally had dates of July 1, beginning their salary. That group will actually, just the SPOs will be paid from August through August will be their contracted year because they don't work over the summer. So we don't want to get into a situation where if we start paying them their salary July 1 and they leave by July 18th, 20th, 30th or whatever, that they're overpaid. So we want to run their salary effective August to August. So that board motion will need to change to say that the effective MOU is from August to August for them. And that is all I have.
Okay, I don't have my computer on, Sherry. What
Sure.
does the MO say that?
The MOU says July 1 of every year.
Okay.
It's going to say August 20th of every year will be when their salary will start, their new salary will start.
Okay,
And that is under new business, Matt. I believe it is new business. Yep, item A under new business.
Change to August 1st,
August 20th.
20th.
Yep.
Thank you.
Because they will
Okay.
get a first pay that will be their old salary yet.
Thank you. Anything else?
Nope, that's
That's
it.
it?
Thank you.
Mr. Lake?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Green. I'd like to share on behalf of the school district our gratitude to the social ministry at the Union Lutheran Church in Schnecksville. Over the past few months, they have donated school supplies and clothing to be shared with our students. Again, we're always very appreciative of the community groups that support our students and staff. I'd also like to acknowledge our Education Foundation. This past Saturday, they hosted their annual Breakfast with Santa over at Peters Elementary School. And again, it was a great success, a very enjoyable morning for the little children, for our student helpers, and actually for all the parents and adults in the Education Foundation that made it a great event again this year. And finally, I would like to just acknowledge our Slatington Elementary School band. This past Friday evening, they gave a remarkable performance at the Slatington tree lighting ceremony. So under the direction of Mr. Yonkman and our elementary band members and a few of our high school band members that were there to support, it was a very fun evening with a great performance. And that concludes my report, sir.
Thank you. An executive session was held at 6:30 PM in the administration building. It was, I think, all for personnel. Can't think of anything else. Yeah, it was all personnel. So, speaking of personnel, we have personnel items A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Is there a motion to approve the personnel items?
Second.
Second, Mr. Deutsche?
Yeah.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Down to there, we're down to policy, board policy, second reading. Is there a motion to approve the policy 237?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions on the policy? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And so ordered. We have two conference requests. Is there a motion to approve the conferences?
Here.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion or questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the administration for following through, getting the police officers here. I think it is the best thing that could happen for Northern Lehigh. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And so ordered. The curriculum and instruction, we have one item, the Navistac 360. Is there a motion to approve curriculum and instruction?
So moved.
Navigate, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, that was that.
Second?
I'll second.
Did I hear somebody down there, Chad?
Mr. Christian.
Chad.
Thank you, Chad. Discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And so ordered. I have nothing currently under old business. Under new business, we have the MOU, and as Ms. Malatoris indicated earlier, it will not be as it was listed in the attachment, but will rather say, excuse me, August 20th. I hope I have that date right for the third try. Is there a motion to approve the MOU?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Someone up here got a second, right? Okay, thanks, Bob. Discussion on that? I think we already went over that, so hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, we have a whole bunch of stuff under financial, fund balance and stuff. Is there a motion to approve the financial items? Motion to approve financial?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the financial items? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And so ordered. I have nothing under legal. Any correspondence, anyone? Michelle, anything that you have or anyone? No?
There is something
No?
here.
Did you get anything at all, Rhonda, that you have to
We
read?
received a thank you note from the library. I don't know if that was in from last time or not.
I think that was for this evening.
Okay, we did receive a thank you note for the contribution that the district makes to the library, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Couple of information items there, CLIU, Lehigh, LTIC, and Carbon Lehigh. Are there any guests that are asked to be recognized?
There's no one signed up. Is there anybody that wants to speak this evening? Okay, hearing none.
Nobody? Okay. Wonders never cease, these Christmas holidays, spirit season, whatever. Thank you. Okay, any other business that needs to be attended to? Yes, Jeff?
Just real quick before we get out of here, just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Geis and the boys varsity team. Unfortunately, we came up about 2 weeks short, but still a heck of a run. So awesome season by the staff and by the boys. It was definitely a season and a game to remember, that's for sure.
We'll be acknowledging the team and Mr. Tout on his award in the January board meeting.
That was good.
Yeah, it was quite a game, Chad. I watched it on TV and 4 seconds, unbelievable. It's just like, but that's why they play them, I guess. So thank you for that. Anything else for the good of the?
Just that we have our annual Christmas tournament, the 27th and 28th, I believe, or the 26th and the 27th. I'm not sure the exact dates. 28th. Yeah, our chair of our Rotary, yes. Yes.
27, 28.
Yeah, and we have, it's been an annual event.
Thank you.
That's
Anything
here,
else?
that's here in this gym, right?
Pardon?
That's in this gym, right?
That's it.
High school.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. One more time. Anybody? Looking left, looking right? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Bye.
Opposed, no? And we're done.